Uh, Today I'm going to be showing you how you can use styled components with nexJS 13, and also how you can set up your theme, uh, configure your dark mode and light mode, all the same in one video. So let's get started. First of all, we want to install the project. The Want to start a new project with nexJS. So I already have my terminal opened here. No, not this one. Uh, yeah. So I'm just going to paste this, and we're going to wait for it to complete the installation. Asking for the name of the project. I'll just use dot to signify the current folder. No, I don't want TypeScript. Yes for end list. No for Tailwind CSS. No for source directory. And yes for app router. No. So just wait for it to install. So let's just wait for it to complete the installation there, and then we'll move on to the next piece. So yeah, now it has completely installed. We will then go into. I'm going to be opening the code editor inside this directory. So here is it, and then we need to add some packages. So the packages we're going to be using this styled component and the use hook ts. We're going to be using this to manage our theme and switching between the theme in the local storage. So let's install this, and then while we wait to finish the installation, we'll just be creating some layouts that we'll be using. So inside this app folder, we'll first create a library folder, and then we also need to create a theme folder, themes folder. So that is okay. So after doing that, we need to create a registry, a style sheet manager, where the style sheet is injected into our project, into the head of our project, the link. So I'm just going to copy the code. You don't really need to know what the code is doing, but just know that this helps with the server rendering, and it helps inject our CSS into the HTML, into the head tag of our HTML. So we create a registry. You can see if you want to know more about this, you can go to the documentation, the nexJS documentation on adding CS a style sheet, adding style sheet to your project. Let me just show that to you. So right here you have the bit here, uh, styled component. So this is what we are doing currently now. So where you can see we use style component API to create a global registry component to call all CSS styles rules generated during a render and a function to return those rules. Then use server inserted HTML hook to inject the styles collected into the registry into the head tag. So this is what we are doing right here. And then in our layout we import the registry the style component registry that we created. So you can save this and then you go to your layout and you wrap it around the children. So you can do that here. So I'm just going to import the style sheet, style component registry. Import it here, and then you just move this into this place. So after doing that, you are ready to use style sheet. Well, usually I like to remove all instances of the CSS module, so you can remove this because now we no longer need the CSS module. You can choose to remove this global CSS, or you can also use it if you want to import fonts globally. You can do that here, maybe from Google font or anything. You can do that here. Well, I'm just going to be deleting all this code for now. I'll just show you later on how you can import your fonts. It is advisable to import fonts in a separate CSS file, than importing it in using styled components. So if you have a global font, you can import them all here. And then let me save this. So this is ready, and now we will move into let me show you that you can now start using the styled component in your project. Yarn dev, let's run the project. And then I'm going to import styled component here. I'm going to remove all this code that we have here. I'm just going to remove all of this. I'm going to remove this also. I'm just going to leave this, and then I'm going to add use client because I'm going to be using a styled component here. Because this will be a client component. Use client, and then I can choose to import styled component. Styled components, and then so I'm going to change this main to container. Can do that by declaring our const, or let me just create a button here. you can see primary button equals to styled dot div. So then after doing that, I can see styled dot div. Let's give it a width of, let's give it 300 pixels and a height of 70 pixels. I can give it a background color just to demonstrate that we can use styled components now. Background color, let's say red, and give it a border radius of 20 pixels. And then let's pick this up and bring it here and set click me. So the application is running. Let's test the application now. Let's see, local was 3000. Let's wait for that to come up. Hope it wouldn't take too much time. So while it loads, also I want can you see? This shows that we can use styled components. Why is it showing here? Inspect. Okay, I think I know what's going on there. Let me this with a container div for it. Const contain now equals to start.div. And then I'm going to leave with a minimum height of 100 viewing height, a minimum width of 100 viewing width, background color is cream, or I can make it light blue. So when I pick this up, let's remove the padding. 0 pixels and margin 0 pixels. Now let's see. Okay, you can see this border we are having here is coming from the layout. This margin we are having here. So to remove that, you can do that from the layout, but we are not going to focus on that. So you can see here that we are already using a styled component. I can decide to style this further. The button, I think the button is too big. Let me make this to 100 width and height of 50 pixels. Border radius. I'm making this div, no wonder. So this should be button. Yeah. So go back, you can see that has fixed the issue. So we can also decide to remove this margin here. You can do that in the layout file. Yeah. But we'll still see how we can do that later on. Let's continue. So now this one other thing I would like to mention, which is for Yarn users. If you are using Yarn, you might need to add a resolution section to your package.json to keep the version of the styled component locked at a specific version, so that you won't have different people using, if you are working in, especially if you are working in a team, different people using different versions, in their work environment. So to do that, you can use the resolution field. So we're just going to add the resolution field here. So this will keep the version uniform across projects, across development environments. So if anyone picks up project and runs it on their machine, it's going to install nothing less than 6.0.4 version of styled components. So I think for npm users, this will be override. So that is that about that. So now we want to go into theming. I want to see how we can theme our application using styled components. So we've worked on the register. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the theme wrapper. So what we're going to do is we're going to create, let's start by creating the theme. First of all, so let's create the default theme. Default theme.js. So I'm just going to be copying the code for the theme. If you want, I'll post this project on my GitHub link. So if you are interested in the project, you can just clone it and work from there. So this is the code for the default theme, and then we also need a dark theme. Let's use a dark theme. You can adjust this to your specific needs depending on your whatever it is you're doing. You can adjust the themes based on your project and the colors that you are using for your project. So this is going to be a dark theme, dark theme.js, and we are just going to invert some of the colors here. So after doing that, then we need the global style. So this will be the style that is applied globally in our application. So the global style, style.js. You can call it whatever name you want. You can make it global style sheet or global project style. Let's just give it global styles.js. So for these global styles, you would Here you would import the default theme, and the create global style, and from there you use the create global style to create a global style. So you can see here we're creating a global style, making padding 0, margin 0, border box. So whatever also you want to add to this, you can add as well. So after creating this, now we have our themes ready. We have our dark theme, we have our default theme, which is the light theme, or you can change this to light theme if you want. And we have our global styles. So after doing that, you can come, you will need to wrap your layout files, but you must remember that you can have different layouts in nexJS 13. The way nexJS 13 works, you can have different layout files for different sections. For example, you might have a admin routes that are only accessible to admins, and the design for their uh, page, for their dashboard is quite different from the user's dashboard. So you might need to have a layout for the admin, a layout for user, a layout for super admin, depending on your project need. So in that case, you will have to import the theme wrapper and the style component registry everywhere you have a layout, everywhere you have a layout file. So like I imported the styled component registry here. I also import the theme wrapper here, which I'm yet to create. So the next thing for me to do is to create the theme wrapper. I'll create that in libraries, or I can just see global theme, global theme, or you can name it anything you like, application theme. So inside here, inside the global theme, what we'll do is we'll import the theme provider and also the global styles, and then we'll wrap everything around the theme provider. So let me start by importing the theme provider. You import the theme provider from styled components. So now we have and then here is also where we need the use local storage hook. So we can import that also from the package use hook TS that we installed. So that would be the use local storage hook. Sorry about that. So this is a extension that is suggesting code for me. The extension is this tab 9. So for those of you who are interested and wondering which extension that is, it is tab 9 extension. So this will be from the use hook, and then we import the global styles. Import global styles, and we also need to import the default style also. The default theme. So after we've done that, we need to now wrap everything around the children, our prop, which is the children that is going to be passed. So here you can just create an export default function. You can call this anything you like. I'll call this global team wrapper. Global team wrapper. And sorry about that. So yeah, let's bring in the children prop. And then we're going to call the theme here. We're going to use the local storage to store the theme in the local storage. And then here is where we return the theme wrapper. We return the prop and the prop also. So here will be the theme provider passing the theme equals to the theme. And then we bring in the global style here. Global style. This is going to be self-closing tag. And then here is where we pass the children. So now our global theme is ready. Our global theme wrapper. Let me just rename this to global theme wrapper. So it is ready, and then what we need next is to import it in our layouts file. So this is our layout. We need to wrap it around this prop, this children prop, which is technically our pages. So I'm going to call in the global theme wrapper. Global theme wrapper here, and move this up by 1. So what we've done here is very simple. You can see, I think there's a kind of error. Create content. Oh, sorry. I should have told you that this should be a client component. So there is a use client. So it should be good by now. Cannot be property of undefined. Into where? Is there an error? It seems there's an error somewhere. Let me restart the server. Just make sure everything is working well. So let's make sure everything is still working as it ought to. You can see that everything is still working, and you can see that the margin has disappeared as the margin that was here, because we've declared that in our global style here. Inside the global style, you can see we removed the padding and the margin. So now our global style is working. So we've successfully integrated our styled component. There's some tutorials out there will tell you to create a Babel, a Babel RC file there, and add some settings to it because of so as to generate a better name for the CSS, class name that's style component generate. Well, I don't like doing that because for nexJS, creating that will override the default one that was created by nexJS, and that would slow down your application a bit much. Would slow it down much more than it ought to. So I believe the sacrifice is not necessary. So that's why most of the time I don't do that. So now that we have our theme, how do we switch our theme? How do we switch between the dark mode and the light mode? So if you go back to your application and you go to the local storage, let's go to application local storage. You should see your theme there. Your theme is the global theme. Your theme default theme is being stored in the local host. You can see the name there. So now let's see how we can switch between the modes. Let's see what we can do. So I'm going to go back to my page file. I'm going to remove this blue background so that it can can make use of the background color defined in the style, in the global style, in the default theme style, which is here. I think we have a background color here of -FFF, and for the dark mode that should change to black. So now what we want to do is we want to see how we can switch the theme. So if we switch the theme successfully, our background color should change in color. Our background should change in color. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you're going to switch the theme. So to do that, I'll just copy some code so as to be fast. So here I'm importing the local storage hook, the default theme and the dark theme here, and we're going to be using the local storage hook to set the theme. So automatically, so what we are doing here is we are fetching the theme from the local storage, and we have these set themes. We can use this to set the theme to either the default theme or the dark theme. So that is what exactly we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing. So I'm just at this point here, I'm going to change this to orange, or let me leave it as white, and then okay, let's just leave it there. I'm just going to create another button here. Let me just comment these buttons out and use the default buttons without using so that you can really see it in effect. So I'm going to paste the code here. What this does is this is a button to switch to the default theme, which is we can say light mode. Here is a light mode. Or light theme, and this will be the dark theme. The reason why we're using a local storage helper here is because we want to persist the state of the theme. For example, we don't want it when the user switches to dark mode, if it comes back tomorrow to the application, we want it to still remain in dark mode and not that it will toggle back to light mode. So we are persisting the state of the theme. So that is that about that. Let's see that in action. So if I click on this, use that theme, this should change to black. Wow, it's not working. It seems it's not working. Something is wrong. Okay, it's working actually, but the problem is we are not using the theme in our container here. So I'm going to change that. So I'm going to give it the background color background color, and passing the prop here, props, and then props dot theme, the theme object dot background. Instead of I don't think we have a background. I think what we have is a body color. I think that's what we have there. So now this should do the trick. So let's go back to our so you can see use light mode, you can see it changes to light mode. Use dark theme, you can see it changes back to the dark theme. So you can go on to extend this further, and style the buttons like you the way you want. So finally you've been able to use a dark theme and switch between theme in your application. You learn how to use styled component with nexJS. So that brings us to the end of the tutorial. See you some other time. Have a wonderful day.